Hello everyone, I'm Max McAllister. I'm back with another episode of how to build an epic FireRock outdoor fireplace and Waterwall feature. And I apologize because I realized somewhere around here in my video camera is a light reflection. Hey, you get what you pay for. This isn't a professional video production and I'm doing it just to help you. So please deal with my little light in my thing. So what we're going to talk about now is we have our basic FireRock fireplace structure up. This is the kit they provide you, and we're going to begin laying the fire bricks into the fireplace, creating the Firebox as it's called. Now, several ways to do this, and they recommend, there are certain recommendations. I suggest you read them in the FireRock instructions. And it's interesting how they do it. I've seen a couple of methods. We're going to fall back into the some things are not right and not wrong or whatever. Depends on what the cosmetic look that you want is. Now, one thing for sure that you're supposed to do is on the floor, you should have a relatively tight mortar joint between the fire bricks. So close, no huge gap in the fire bricks. Now what they do tell you is that you do need a significant sawed gap between all of the bricks and the walls, anywhere at any time. And so there's kind of a cool procedure I'm going to show you and explain to you here on how you do it so you overlap. And what the concern is this is where huge concentrated heat's going to be. And fire bricks are very special bricks that are designed to take extreme heat. So huge hotbeds of coals can lay on these bricks without damaging them. Now, the problem is, as these bricks get hot, they get bigger, just like anything in the universe. Anything that gets warmer or hotter gets bigger. So these bricks need room to grow so that they don't push out and break your fireplace. So if you had these bricks butted up tight against the walls of the fireplace, they could actually crack the walls of the fireplace and crack the foundation of it, have the whole damn thing cave in on itself. They could crack each other, make a big mess out of everything. So make sure you leave the recommended gap along the walls of the fireplace between the fire bricks. So you got to cut them. This takes time and effort. One thing I wish I had known, I used a 7.5-inch circular saw with a stone wheel on it. That's not how a mason's doing it at all. For the most part, they're going to use a 4.5-inch disc grinder with a stone wheel on it. I'll be honest, it's more dangerous to a person that isn't comfortable with using common hand tools. It's a little more Wild West. It doesn't have any guide plate or anything to square it, so you have to be really comfortable at cutting perpendicular lines freehand. So a circular saw is probably better for a mortal person who's never done any stonework. But I will say that stone guys are all going to use a 4.5-inch disc grinder, which you're going to want later if you're doing stonework, no matter what. I'll tell you about that. But so you can see I had to cut little stones here at angles at various places because the fireplace has a well shape to it, so it's kind of angled inward, just as you might expect a fireplace to be. So you got to shape this stuff. So what you're going to do is find the dead center point of your fireplace, and you're going to build outward from it. So starting at the back wall, you're going to make a seam and go out from that line. And then you got to stagger bricks. So this is complicated. It takes attention to detail and a lot of effort to do this really nicely. Again, all bricks have to be leveled. Everything, we're trying to make a surface you can put a marble on in there and it won't move. All right, so you want something really nice when you're done. Because you got to put a fireplace grate in there. You don't want it going ding, 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 ding. It's not level, it won't sit right, your logs are wobbling. You don't want any of that. All right, so in the fireplace, start at the back wall and build your way forward. You're going to start with a line splitting the center, and you're going to, so a good way to do this, a lot of this is with shims. So you can get some 1/4 inch plywood or 3/8 plywood, whatever you want. Read the recommendation on the gap. I think it's 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 to a half. And just saw that into little like playing card size pieces. You're going to drop them in behind the blocks, and that's going to give you your gap that you need between the walls, so your bricks have room to expand. And then start to build out and then forward on the base course of the fire bricks. And when you complete that, you can start your back wall. And these are going to be interlocked just the opposite. So you can see my first brick overlaps that gap, and the rest go out from there. And then you go on up into a point where it's clear where these walls end. This is just a decorative arch here, but that's where it truly ends, the structure ends, and that's where your firebox will end, is right up in there. So that is the floor of the firebox and the back wall of the firebox. Here's my work. Now, the floor is supposed to be constructed with these tight gaps. You can choose, if you want, some people do, to maintain those gaps. I like the look of maintaining those gaps on the back wall and the side walls. But a lot of people will then go for a bigger gap in the back wall and side walls. If you're going to do that, they sell you can go buy dowels, whatever the gap you want. So say you want a 1/4 inch gap, you go buy 1/4 inch dowels, and you poke dowels in, and you're going to mortar the bricks to the wall effectively. But then you can come back and you're going to pull, once everything sets up, you're going to pull the dowels out, and then you're going to grout later. You're going to grout the fireplace. I built mine and grouted it at the same time. It is kind of important to keep the stone, all of the mortar off of the stone as much as possible. So you can kind of see how the mortar will gray in and fill in every pore in a block. You're not going to be able to avoid that too much. But you got to keep water on a sponge, wiping and cleaning the stones constantly to keep the mortar from contaminating and ruining the appearance of the stones. All right. I guess we've backed up here. Here's my 4 sets of boots. There's a mortar tub and a trowel. You're going to become great friends with them. Large rubber hammer for pounding on things. Here's an example. Sometimes I guess the photos are going to be out of sequence. I can't explain that. I think it's because when they're delivered to me from my fiance, from her phone to mine. But so here, when I'm tapping in a stone, you can see mortar oozing out here. I would come back later with a trowel and take that away. The FireRock mortar has a different texture to it. So it is a very special and specific mortar for this high heat environment that works with you. Now, if you're like me and you have a job, okay, and your job isn't building crazy $50,000 projects in your backyard, then you're probably going to have to work on this in your spare time. Now, where I was I started this project in the spring, worked on it loosely over the summer, and I completed a big mountain bike race I was involved in the second week of August, and then I went straight dedicated time, every spare moment of my life, and worked on it to complete it by October 31st. By Halloween was our goal. So that meant I worked at night. And as the fall progressed and daylight ended earlier each day, basically it became harder and harder and harder to work. So I had to go out and work at night frequently. So I bought Headlight, Home Depot. I'm able to just keep working and keep my project going. So I would work till 8 or 9 o'clock at night and then stop for dinner at that point. So I worked till 6 p.m. came home, and then worked from 6 till 8, or between 8 and 9, and then stopped for dinner. That was the kind of the program typically. All right, so here we are putting the rings. These rings for the fireplace you can buy for the chimney stack. You can see they interlock. You can put as many of those as you want on there. You would have to call them and ask what the limit is, but that thing can really stack up high. As far as I know, it can go way, way up, and you don't have to worry about it. So here I am out there on a ladder working. Here's my completed firebox. Again, you'll see kind of the detail. You have to cut and trim stones and fill little corners with mortar. Now the way it works is you have your 1/2 inch gap, 3/8 to 1/2 inch gap all the way around the base plate. Then you put your back wall on and the back wall goes up. It's touching the back wall, but it's overlapping the gap that's along the back wall there. Then the side walls go on. Then the side walls also have a gap for them at the back. You can't really see it in the photos, but it's required to be there so that, again, the bricks don't push on each other, push each other apart, crack all the joints, and the bricks don't pull away from the wall, fall down, and collapse into your fireplace. And so there's my completed fire blocks. So this actually is what would be a complete FireRock fireplace. That's what you get. I want to say it's, you know, $2,500-ish. I don't remember. And again, I was fortunate. My wife said she'd pay for it all if I did all the work. Here you go. You can see the gap between my base course and my side wall. It's pretty evident there, so you get an idea what that looks like, right? There's my completed firebox, up close in daylight. Some more. Now, here's some more pictures. So now, I'll show you, I think this is going to bounce around a little bit. Remember, I wanted more height. Each one of these layers is 6 inches. So I bought 4 more layers, so I got 2 more feet of height for my chimney, knowing that I wanted to elevate it up to try and avoid smoke blowing at my upper deck. And I also just thought it looked better. I want this thing to look beefy and powerful and strong and stone-like, and, you know, I want it to be a monument. I just don't want some little stubby thing out in my backyard. All right, there we go. Now this is what we would call the framing of the house. This is done. Everything around here is just going to add beef and muscle to it. So there it is, kind of. For reference, I'm 5'9". This is the completed height. Some recommendations: pick some clothes and you just wear them every day. They're going to smell like a goat's ass. But if you were to come out and try and just wear new clothes every day while you do this, you're just going to destroy clothing, everything you own. Just pick a couple of t-shirts, a couple of shorts, keep them in rotation in the laundry. And just let them get destroyed, because that's what's going to happen. Here's a view down from our upper deck, so we're kind of starting to get the look of the riser to our hot tub, our open patio, what will be the water wall, and here's our FireRock fireplace. Now, this is what it took to get those higher rings up onto the fireplace. It was pretty sketchy, I'll be honest. So this is a, I want to say that is a, it's a 12-foot regular open ladder, and then this is a typical extension ladder. Because of the weight of the stones, they were probably 80 some pounds a piece. You had to be able to place the mortar onto each level, carry the stone up a ladder to 12 feet, pick an 80-pound stone up out in front of you and gently lay it into the mortar. So that kind of took 2 people. So someone had to go up there to help catch the far edge and guide it all down level, while you, the person who came up the ladder carrying the stone, got up there, lifted it, and basically started it out forward. We did it by holding it vertical, letting the person on the side support the weight, then we gently tilted it over to level, and then we lowered it into the mortar. And that's kind of the procedure we did that. You'll see under here, lots of mortar and goop is falling down everywhere. You know, as you place it, it's like, you know, icing or ice cream just squeezes out. It's all falling down into your beautiful firebox. So we line this with leaf trash bags to catch the mortar so that we didn't destroy the beautiful work that we had spent so much time doing. And you'll have to do that a lot, over and over and over, to protect the work you've done. The most important piece in your fireplace after the fireplace. This is the gas log lighter. If you contact me or ask me below in the comments section, I'll try and send you a link to Amazon to where I found this. I researched this extensively. This is the best, most bitch bomb lighter you can buy. It's cast iron. It works so good. I'll try and explain on another day how I got the log lighter and everything installed. In fact, this is probably a good time to take a pause in our project, and I'll come back and see. How about a teaser? What's our next picture? Oh, teaser. We're back. All right. So I'm Max. Don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, particularly if they are building a project like this or you're building one. And please subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep cool content like this coming.